Hey, there's Susan, and there's Rand. Okay, the gang's all here. So I thought what we would do today is I'm going to put move number two on a loop, and we'll watch it like 12 times in a row, 10 times in a row. And so get up, and do this with him, and see if you can find the silk reeling in what he's doing, and the rhythm that that silk reeling gives this move. So we'll do these 10, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, and then we'll go on to move number 3. So hold on, let me cue this up. or Susan. I'm sorry, I was just teaching Catherine. Susan.
Um, I was really paying more attention to the spiraling that he was
Uh,
doing, because there's so much of it, and um it's everywhere, you
yeah,
know. And so I was trying to sort of really play into that, and also paying a lot of attention to the space that he creates.
he's very spacious.
Hmm.
It's a little hidden by all the clothes he wears, but he's doing what's called a large form. He's really
Hmm.
taking up some space, some ground space. Ram, what do you think?
There's something I noticed in our previous viewings of the video, but I'm noticing it again, which is sometimes when he wants to emphasize something, then he also moves his leg, where he doesn't necessarily have, like, what I mean is, like, when he goes like this, like he actually goes back, and he's like,
Yeah, yeah,
you can tell that
yeah,
like, he could easily stay, but he's like, no, you see, I'm moving back, and then
yes.
when he goes like this, he could also stay, but then he's like, let's go back a bit, like that's where my energy is going, and he's using his legs to to point to you like where the flow is going.
I
That
think
was
that's
nice.
absolutely true. And I think that his style of doing it is just an advanced form of Chen style. So it's not unheard of for other very advanced people to do things like that. But I agree with you, Rand. He's definitely using that to emphasize the opening and closing of his bodies. I noticed a couple of things. I really noticed what um, Kevin brought up yesterday, which is how he differentiates the left and right side of the body. He's very strong on that. His rhythm is so nice and smooth and relaxed that in a way you don't even notice it unless you sort of really look for it. But if you really look for it, it's very pronounced. In some places, very pronounced. The other thing that I was looking at and that I'm not getting, and I'm trying to debate whether I've got video dyslexia or whether I'm a little tired or what's going on, is his weight shifts. That has to do with him, as Ram was saying, in part backing up. But also his weight shifts in a couple places are unusual. And I'm not getting them yet, so I still need to watch this and try. We started when we started this. I had the timer on this set on quarter, I think quarter time or maybe even eighth time. So he was doing the end of the movement in really slow time. That was interesting because you could see things going on that it's impossible to see when it's just going at regular time. So maybe in the future we'll play one or two of these like at quarter time and just to see what we see. But for today, why don't we go on to move 3 and see what he does with that? So lazily tying the coat. Lazily tying the coat is a big long move. There's a lot of moving parts in there. But let's go ahead and watch it, and we'll do the same thing. We'll follow 10 of these and see what we think. That's the actual end right there. Right there. Okay, what did you notice, Susan?
Uh, this move, he was really doing a lot of opening and closing, and and he's not doing it the way we learned it. So I have a little trouble following, exactly all the moves. But
A little different.
certainly I saw a lot of I saw a lot of that, just
Yeah,
and also a lot of up and down, a lot of
yeah.
just sinking and expanding and moving all over
He,
the place.
yes, he's doing an earlier version of it. Um, and it's a little more sophisticated version. It was simplified slightly later on. So we do, the version we're doing is a very particular version from a particular era of Hunyan. They're all good, but it is a little, you have to adjust things a little bit when you get to a slightly different version like this. Ran, any comments?
Yeah, I couldn't help but noticing, especially in some of the moves in this part, the use of the fingers and covering. And what I also noticed, which is new to me, is how that like opens up everything. It's like, okay, you're just doing it in the hand, but then suddenly your body opens. Like you can't just open up the hand. Like I mean,
Yeah,
if you try very much, you can, but like you really have to open the body with it, which I thought was really
I think
interesting.
that's a great observation. That's just exactly why you watch things like this, and that will change your style. Just noticing that and following through. Did you all notice him lose his balance? Did Susan? Did you? Yeah, a little bit.
Just a tiny bit, yeah.
Yeah. It's actually more than it might look like, but he is recovering really well. This is I haven't watched his whole form, but I've watched the first six moves here, and this is the only one I can think of where he actually loses his balance a little bit. So he's working on it too. All right, he's also improving. I want to play him one more time, and when we get to the place where he loses his balance, I'm going to slow it down. So hopefully we can really see it. He's so smooth that he almost gets away with it. But if you watch and you watch repeatedly, you'll see him lose his balance here. Now watch. Right there. And right there. See him lose his balance? watching at half speed. Right there. Right there. So the question then is, why does he lose his balance? He's good there. Good there. Good there. Open. Interesting spiral there. There he bobbles it. All right, watch, and I'm going to call out where I think this may get set up. All good. Good. Close and open. Good. Very interesting. Now watch. Right there. There. And he bobbles right there. He bobbles a little coming down too. Okay, so that's just my theory, is he is sinking and closing really deeply. Much more, you can see it when you slow it down more than at regular speed. And I think that what's happening is he's actually challenging his body maybe just a little bit too much, and he's setting up something that will show up again in a moment. Kevin, can you see where he bobbled it? Can you see the bobble?
Yeah, see, I've been watching his feet because I've been playing around with the feeling of my feet on the ground.
Right.
So what I've been doing before is my feet feel really light, and when I'm trying to weight shift, I'm trying to have a one foot just barely. No, your feet suck to the ground like suction cups, and you shift the weight above your feet. And
Right.
so now I've been watching his feet and his pants legs because of the weight shift. And I don't know if that left foot is completely down where he wants it to be. And then when he moves, he's just a little off.
Gets a little bobbled. Okay. Yeah. So you may be right. I may be right. It may be both things. Right. But what I see him doing is closing really, really deeply, and that and then not being able to handle the opening after that. It's just a very small thing, and he handles it in context. But if you watch closely, you can see his balance is not perfect. There's a slight little bobble in there, and then there's another bobble when he comes down. Yeah, Kevin.
His feet are in the very Japanese position of parallel.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a toe out at all, hardly at all.
Yeah.
And so when you just did the move, your left leg was out, your left, and
uh,
and
the,
his isn't,
the traditional way to stand in Chen style Tai Chi is with the feet at about 30 degrees. And if one foot is forward straight, then the other foot is out 30 degrees to 45 degrees or so. In Yang style, it's even more. It's like 90 degrees, which seems stupid to me, but yeah. So he's got his. One thing I thought watching him is what you're watching is a language. You're watching a language with a certain accent and a certain way of doing things. And there's just a tremendous amount to be learned by not just watching him, but studying him. So it's not like you're going to be him. You're not going to be Japanese. But you can sure learn a lot by really going in depth on what he's doing. And also recognizing that he's not perfect. He's not perfect. When I don't think about it, right, this move is easy. But when I'm doing the form a little more slowly and I start to think about it, I often bobble that move. It's not that I don't carry it through, but there's a little bobble in there. Master Zhang, I'm trying to remember what move it was. One of the moves in the 24, and I can't remember which one it is right now, but Master Zhang would always bobble that move. Always. It just didn't matter. He always bobbled it. So what that indicates is a habitual way of moving that's not correct. It's not handling your own balance and your own weight correctly. And you can know that. Of course you know that because you just bobbled. And you always bobble there. So you're telling yourself, well, something's going on. I'm doing something that is not quite working. But honest to God, you can go for years and not figure it out. So I find it very interesting to see a guy who's as good as he is not being perfect. He's just like all the rest of us. He's working on it as he goes along. Okay, this is the last class of the year for this class. We're going to have classes during the week, but then Friday is our last class, and then we're on Christmas break until Saturday, the 6th of January. So the designer that I work with is just working up the new calendar for 2024. When that's all together, I'll send that to you in the next couple of days so that you have that. But we're off until Saturday the 6th of January. All right. So if I do not see you during the week next week, have yourselves a great Merry Christmas and a good New Year. All right. And we will see you all in 2024.
Thank
2024.
you.
It's like science fiction to me, right?
Okay, same to y'all.
Okay,
Bye.
guys.
Take
See you
care.
next time. Ciao.